Hello, hello, hello.
Yes.
Aha.
There
The
we
man himself.
go.
Very cool. That works.
Let me try my wife hopefully will join us soon. She's on her way home. She's kind of the brains of the operation.
That's awesome. I love hearing that kind of stuff too, because people don't realize, how things work and what goes on behind the scenes and all of that.
Yeah. I would. I've told her before. If I had to do the number stuff that you do, I'd quit being a musician.
Yeah, it's definitely not. And I would say that that's actually something I struggle with, right? The fact that sometimes I'm in business mode, sometimes in artist mode, and I actually just finished writing my own album. Just wrapped up the writing, and I got to tell you, it was difficult this time around. The last time I wrote an album, we weren't doing SMA, so I could just fully immerse myself, and it's different having the two sides of your brain. So I fully believe in seasons for things, like seasons of immersing yourself in the music, not thinking at all about business, and then there's a time to promote and there's a time to do this and do that. But, we do what we got to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Yeah. So this was just going to be like really casual. I have a lot of questions for you about your niche. I'm so fascinated. I'm fascinated by, your instrument and your art and all of that. So, for me, the whole point of us doing this is just to encourage other people out there to really stay unique to what they're doing and just, yeah, well, I want to talk about all that. So, for me, this is, and hopefully for you, this is about encouraging people out there who are feeling incredibly discouraged with the music industry right now, and hey, like good things happen too, right? When you stay true to your art and you stay true to who you are and you just, stay with your nose to the grind and do what you got to do, right?
Yeah.
So, hey, welcome, Ted Yoder. So awesome to actually meet you face to face, sort of.
You too.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about why hammered dulcimer? What got you into that instrument?
There was an artist by the name of Rich Mullins back. He died in 1997. He was the only person I ever saw or heard play the hammered dulcimer, and I heard about it way back in 1985, and it took me about 10-12 years to find one. So it wasn't until after I got married that my wife and I found one. So I don't know, it was just something that I don't think I knew that it would have the hold on me that it does now. I just didn't know it would grab me as much as it did, because I grew up playing piano and singing and doing other stuff. But, when it came to trying to do music for a living, basically, I got advice from a book. I don't even remember the name of the book anymore, but it basically said, get good at and proficient at one instrument, and then you can branch out from there if you want. But they basically said you just need to have that one thing. And so they kind of helped you narrow it down to what was that one first love for you. And I knew it was hammered dulcimer the whole time. It just, I don't know, it's just magical. It speaks to me. It's like we were meant to be together. So
I love that. I love that so much. I feel actually the same way about the Celtic harp, which I only just got one not that long ago, and I'm going to learn it now. But before that, piano's been my instrument of choice, just because it's rhythmic. You can do everything you need to do on there. Harp is a little more limited, but I love that. I feel the same way about the harp. It's like my soulmate instrument.
Yeah.
You feel that way?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I just feel I'm fairly proficient at piano, but I don't know, there's something about the hammered dulcimer that I just feel I can speak better on it. So.
Oh, that's so cool. For me, when I listen to it, what gets me is the natural reverb that it has. Like for me, there's an atmosphere that comes with it you know, and
Yeah.
like, for me, I'm just like, oh, actually makes me want to sing over it. Like not to cover it, but just it does make you want to express yourself or something. It's cool.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, with what you do, one of the things that was so fascinating to me is that you've basically kind of built everything you do around really a micro niche, which, you know, I'm like really passionate about. And, you know, you're giving your unique twist on whatever you do with that unique instrument. Like, how many people out there actually play that instrument? Not very many.
Not very many.
So, yeah, like, what's been your experience with why people have connected so well with what you do? Do you believe it's because it's a new twist on something old, or it's just something new they haven't seen before? Like, why are people so drawn to it?
I think one thing is that people aren't used to hearing songs they grew up with on the hammered dulcimer. For one, you know, people pigeonholed it right away into either a Celtic instrument or a mountain instrument. And so they think you got to play mountain music or, you know, the Irish tunes or something like that. So for me, I made reference to Rich Mullins before. He was a folk rock artist. And so when I heard him play, that's just what I grew up with. But also I was a rock and roll piano player. I was kind of like Elton John, Billy Joel type piano player. Not as good, but just that. And so when I started hammering away on the dulcimer, that's what I naturally was drawn to. So I think it is a kind of unique thing, unique style that I do on it. There's a lot of percussionists, a lot of drummers who have revolutionized or evolved the instrument in a very rhythmic sense. I think I do it in just that kind of rock and roll hooky kind of sense. And then again, you know, like I said, just I like playing songs I grew up with, and so people like to hear their songs that have history on a different instrument, you know.
So it brings a sense of nostalgia for them, but then they're hearing it in a totally new, different way, which just hooks them immediately to like, so recognizable, and yet they haven't heard this before. So I think it's a really smart combination. Not that you were doing it to be strategic, you're doing it because you love it, but it happens to work really amazing. So, I mean, for those who don't even know, you know, what we're talking about, tell me what happened, and tell me what happened and what happened after that. Like, okay, just tell me what happened. So were you going live regularly, or was that your first live video?
Excuse me. It wasn't my first live video. I think it was our second. We had just dove into your course and started running some like ads and some email sign up ads. And we set up Bandcamp and different things like that. With, you know, I had a website and different things like that already, but there were, I think my wife's coming. Yes, here she comes. She asked real quick, was that our second video or our first video? That was our second. Okay.
Facebook Live.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hi, Leah.
Meet you.
Me too.
So
hi from rainy Canada here.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not much different in Indiana. So she was basically asking what happened. So I would be remiss if I didn't say that, you know, some people say that, think that this is where it started.
Right.
When in reality, I was doing this for 6 years, you know, eating bologna and, you know, potatoes and that kind of stuff.
a 6-year overnight success.
Exactly. So earlier that year in January, I took a part-time job for the first time in 6 years of doing music full-time, just because I was just wore out. I was done. I had no more creative energy in trying to figure out what album to do next, figure out the next way to raise money, you know, just all that. Everything that we've been doing for 6 years, I was just done. And so it felt so good to just go do a job where I didn't have to think about my music and I could just totally think about something else. And I mean, as artists, we get nasal gazing really easily, you know. I mean, because it's just, you know, it's so much about ourselves. So it just felt really good to look outward. And so that's what was happening before that. And then I literally was I was working Monday through Friday, leaving Friday night and gigging almost 3 nights a week, I think, on the weekends, and then coming home and hitting the workday again. And I did that for 2 or 3 months, or was it more than that?
No, it's longer than that.
Yeah, I guess it was 5 months, 5 or 6 months.
5 months.
And I was wiped out emotionally, and I just thought, okay, I don't think we can do this, you know, at this kind of rate. So anyway, it was just one of those things. That was kind of the setup to this whole, you know, viral video thing. So as we dove into your stuff and started looking at Facebook again, what really suited me, since we have really bad internet out here, I used to shoot video ahead of time and edit it and then upload it. Well, it took 6 hours to upload a 5-minute video, you know, because I mean, it's almost like dial-up out here. And so when Facebook came out with Live, I thought, well, this is awesome. I can just go live and I don't have to upload video, mistakes and all. It's on there. I don't care.
That's awesome.
And so
He doesn't mind living on the edge, if you can't tell.
So yeah, that was our second Facebook Live video. The first one, I just did an original song that I had just started writing. And I think we had 12 people watching. Maybe not even that.
I think there were 6 people.
I think there were 6 people watching, and maybe we had 12 comments or 12 shares, maybe 12 shares, something like that, something small. And we thought that wasn't bad. At the time, we had 800 likes.
1,120 likes.
Okay. And but we had very little engagement on Facebook. It was starting to pick up a little bit because, like I said, we were running some posts like you suggest and stuff. And then the next week, Donna says, "Well, are you going to do it again?" And I was like, "I don't know. I guess, you know." And being the musician that I am, Wednesday rolled around, and I was like, I don't know. I'm kind of tired, you know. And so I decided to come out to the office and just kind of noodle around with the song just to see if it came together. And it started, and so it started forming a little bit, and I decided to go, I had to go to work, so I stopped and went to work and thought about it. And I still wasn't sure I was going to do the song by the time I got home. So anyway, then we went out in the backyard, we set up for it, and we had storms that night. Literally tornadoes were coming through the area. A little south of here anyway, but they were coming our way. So we thought, okay, let's do it really quick. And we set up everything, and the internet wasn't working. And so we tried to move everything closer to the house. Well, it still wasn't working. And so it was just, did we switch to cell service then?
No, we just prayed for strong enough signal to get it out there. And yep, it came up just right at 6. We had told people we're going to be here at 6.
Was it 8 o'clock? I think it was 8 o'clock.
Oh, it was 8. Yeah, it was later in the season. Yeah.
Later in the season.
So 8.
So yeah, so by the time the Wi-Fi started working, it was, 8, little after 8, and I was like, oh crap, we're late, and so I mean, late for who? We had 6 viewers last time, and so yeah, then I shot the video. I was all frustrated and kind of ticked off that things weren't working right, and so I was kind of just trying to shake it off and just play and yeah, I launched into it. And it was one of those things where I had tons of mistakes in there, and my timing was off, and I rushed it and everything. But I nailed the beginning and the end. And I've always said, if you nail the beginning and the end, most of the time people forget what happened in the middle.
That's so good, though. That's so good.
I don't push that. I don't want people to just slough off in the middle or anything. I'm just saying it. Yes.
If you can pull it together, you just might get it done.
Yeah. So so I just we just played it and said goodbye to everybody. Oh, I got the coon out and that kind of thing. I didn't know what to do afterwards. Just everything was kind of impromptu. Get
the raccoon.
Yeah, get the raccoon. Why not? So yeah, that was, I mean, that's how that's up to it. I don't know if you have questions now before.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, so you play and you didn't even, you're like, this is so not perfect, whatever. Right. And just do thing. And then like, how long did it take from the time you went live to the time it kind of exploded?
Basically 24 hours. By the time I went to bed that night, we had, I forget some of the numbers now.
I think we had 600 shares.
That early?
Maybe not that many, because in the morning I know we had like 1,100, and I was making a little sign. The kids and I were going to carry it up to Ted in the morning, going, "You got 1,100 shares on your video, isn't that awesome?" By the time we took it up and showed it to him, he had 1,400 shares. So it was just going so fast even that morning already that we could feel the excitement of that, and just that people were enjoying it and picking it up. So.
Yeah, I think by the time I went to bed, I had 47 shares, and I was already feeling good about that. I was like, hey, that's like, 4 times more than what we had last time, this is cool, but I didn't think anything of it. And then I get up in the morning and people are starting to text me and saying, hey, what's going on with your video? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I check it, and so really 24 hours later then, like Friday night we got home, and we were almost to 500,000 views. And so then we were going to go live 24 hours later just to kind of, update, just do an impromptu Facebook Live thing and count and do a big cheer when we hit 500,000 or something like that. And I hadn't looked at it all day. I tried.
You had to go to work.
I had to go to work.
And I had some appointments too. So we both said, let's not check numbers. Let's just come back and do this together as a family tonight.
Yeah. And so then we sat on the couch and my son read me the numbers as we were just live, and it was over 500,000 views at that point. I can't remember the shares. So that floored us. But then by midnight that night, it hit 1 million. And that's when I had Kurt Smith trying to get a hold of me, and Christy from Huffington Post wanted to do an interview the next morning. And that was just, and Christy, I can't, what's her last name? I put you on the spot. Wooten, Christy Wooten. When I had the interview with her, I can't remember what the numbers were. Oh, that's right. We did the video. I was thinking we did the video on Thursday. I'm sorry, it was Wednesday. Yeah. So on Friday morning, she did the interview with me, and she predicted. She said we're not
20 million.
She said we're not even at the weekend. This is going to go huge. I said, really? She goes, oh yeah, you have no idea. And
she said you'll hit 50 million this weekend.
Yeah, so she knew what she was talking about. So after the first million, honestly, I should say 500,000. It just snowballed. The amount of people that were sharing it and viewing it was just ridiculous.
Wow. And now, how did that feel going from someone who feels like they were struggling to get 12 shares, like that was awesome, to something like this? Like, describe the feeling. And having all these new fans, like all these new fans who just like love what you do.
Right. Honestly, there were a lot of tears. We just sat in bed. I couldn't sleep a wink. I honestly would sleep like 45 minutes at a time and wake up and I wasn't checking numbers, but I wanted to talk. I was talking to people on Facebook and answering emails and texts, and it was fun. It was just like, wow. What the heck? When will this ever happen again? And so I was just kind of digging into it, but yeah, just it felt like a new baby, like the first time you have a child, and you go over to their crib and you stand there and you watch them sleep, and then you laugh, and then you cry, and then you get tired of crying, so you laugh some more, and then you cry. It's like that. It's so, like you said, it's a 6 to 7 year overnight success, right? And there's knowing how close we were to quitting, just to being done, and then to have something unexpected like this happen, it was just overwhelming is probably the worst word I could use.
I get it. Like I literally have goosebumps when you're talking about this right now. Like I'm covered in goosebumps. Like so amazing. Now, what kind of opportunities opened up for you after that happened?
Oh gosh. I will tell you this first, just in case, other people hear this. I went through so many emotions between September to December, wondering if this is all that it is. If nothing's really changed, what happens after Christmas? What happens when the New Year's come and I can't get out in my orchard and do a song for people because it's winter time. So honestly, and that thought is still always there, and it's probably something that motivates me, but it's also something that I fight probably on a regular basis. I fight really hard against fear and worry. And I think, and the biggest worry is that, what if this is gone tomorrow? What if it really turns into nothing and I'm back playing $300 pizza cafe gigs, or whatever. So I battle that a lot. So I say that just to preface how things have changed. I think a month later, we got a call to go down to Busch Gardens in Tampa, Florida, to play for 2 months. So we took the whole family. We just got back actually last week.
Wow.
So we took the whole family down to Florida, and we rented a house through Airbnb, and I gigged at Busch Gardens for 2 months. After that, even before we came home, I was hired to go to Brazil to play for a wedding on an island, a freaking island.
Unbelievable.
That was unbelievable. So so there's these big things that have happened. Yes, my fee has gone up. Right away, I called some friends of mine and was like, okay, people are asking for gigs. Most of them were weddings, okay? And weddings I just don't do a lot of. They're very hard as an artist. I was trying to move out of them anyway, because I want to be an artist, not a wedding gig person.
Right. I understand.
You can't sell CDs, right?
Right.
So
some people, that's totally their cup of tea.
Yeah, yeah.
Serving someone's need like that is totally their niche.
Yeah.
But Ted kind of has this
I'm a performer,
entertainer ham bone in him.
Yep.
So I had to start turning down weddings because, well, for one, people were asking me like, "Are you available next Saturday?"
Right. Oh my goodness.
Like, I'm going to be answering emails till next month. No, I don't think.
Well, then I was thinking, really, you're getting married in 5 days, and you're just now trying to find a musician? I don't get that.
Nice. Yeah.
So yeah, I had some conversations with some friends, just honestly asking them, look, I have no idea what price to start telling people. And they all pretty much, they weren't in the same room. These were all different conversations. And all of them pretty much said, your time is the most valuable thing right now. So you have to price it like you're going to be busy for the rest of your life. And you need to pick your free times.
That's great advice. So good.
Yeah, which I'm probably still not that good at, because I still go, ooh, gig, yes, ooh, gig, yes. And I look at my calendar and go, oh, I'm 3 weeks away from home. Didn't plan on that. So yeah, it's like I said, I hope it's changed forever. Our music business is so volatile and changing daily. That it could be all gone tomorrow. So what am I going to do? I don't know. I'll find another way to do music. I'll find another way to market. I'll find another way. What an incredible ride if this is all there was. But the main thing is, even before this happened, the whole reason we went Facebook Live was because we were like, oh, look, this makes my job easier. Let's do this. Let's try it. All our fans were on Facebook anyway. So, I don't know. It's like, I'm trying to think of an analogy. I think it's like, what was it, Edison that said, somebody asked him, how does it feel to fail 1,000 times? And he said, I didn't fail 1,000 times. I just found out 1,000 ways that the light bulb didn't work. So as long as the love and the passion is in you, I don't think we can stop. Because I can't imagine working. I'm not a very good worker. so I don't want to go work at McDonald's, but if I have to, I will.
I don't think you're going to have to, but I'll do my part to try and help you, because I mean, what you have is very special. And like you said, things are volatile. Things change so quickly, so fast. And I want to see you be able to keep that momentum going, because I do think there's a lot we can do to help that. And we'll talk about that later. But what would you say to like fellow online musician students, or just musicians out there right now who believe that going viral is maybe their ticket to fame? Like, what would you say to those people? That's a hard one, huh?
It's a hard one. What are you thinking?
I've got two words that just keep jumping out at me, and they're kind of the words that we were discussing when we were talking about if we were going to jump into your course, honestly, because we've done some programs before. And we looked at each other and said, are we really going to invest money in this again, right? And so honestly, one of our big words is invest. Mm-hmm. You have to keep investing in yourself, in your business, in your art, whatever ways you have to keep the fire going, you've got to invest. And for us, at the time that you came along and our friends recommended it, we just said, you know what? She gives us hope that it can be done in this marketplace, that somebody knows what they're doing with the independent music scene right now. We aren't still looking for a label. We don't have to have a viral video to make this work. We can just do the work. So invest in yourself, in things that give you hope. And another thing that I think is really big is adapting. Being willing to adapt to what's happening around you. Like at that point, we weren't planning on investing in the business again, but we realized, I think this is something that we need to help change with what's happening in our business. So
the best way to have everything stay the same is keep doing the same thing. I mean, and so when I first watched your video, I was like, I don't think we cannot invest in this. I think it just needs to be done. And while the viral video, we can't credit,
6 years of doing your program to make that happen.
I didn't play the dulcimer. It wasn't.
It's still, it was just another step. You have to keep moving forward. As soon as you decide this is where you're going to stay, this is good enough. That's exactly, it's only going to go downhill from there. It is an uphill battle constantly. It's like no other business, or it's no different than any other business. You have to keep it. It's an uphill battle to stay ahead. You look at any major company, any small company even, as soon as they try to just stay steady, they're going to be going down. That's just the nature of the beast. It's a lot of work, and we really appreciated you saying that up front in your video, and saying this is a lot of work, and some of you aren't cut out for it. And if you're just going to be here to complain, go somewhere else. So I've never heard that from any other coach, if you will, or whatever, from the music industry. And so you absolutely cannot bank on going viral. And going viral doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have gigs for the rest of your life. I mean, you can point to any number of people on YouTube that have gone viral because of I don't know, trying not to be judgmental, a stupid video.
Or unwrapping Kinder surprises.
Right. So I mean, and where are they now? So even though we have a viral video, yes, what we're trying to do now is we're trying to just we keep telling the people on Facebook, really, our family just got bigger. Okay?
I love that.
We had a family of 1,000 people. Now we have a family of, I don't know, 250,000, something like that. You know? and a lot of them honestly do feel like family. I have something on my wall up here, and I read it this morning, and it made me think. It says, "Fall in love with your fans."
I love that. I love it.
I thought that was so cool. That was exactly what it was. We went. I'll just be honest here, and hope this falls on right ears. When we were down in Florida, we were it was like moving. We were like out of commission for 2 months. You know, we literally moved to Florida, and then we moved back. So we haven't been on Facebook as much. And I tried to, I posted on Facebook and tried to stay in touch with people. And oh man, I tell you what, I posted some things, and man, did people just get pissed off and just, oh yeah, just, I mean, I would just post a simple sign that said something, you know, about working hard, you know, and I mean, honestly, what was it? I posted something about a dog, a couple dogs who were acting ashamed. One was acting ashamed because he chewed on something.
Oh,
the guy wasn't yelling at him. He was just asking him who did this and holding up this slipper, you know, and the dog was, you know, cowering and stuff. I thought it was funny.
right.
So I posted that. Oh my goodness. I got stoned by some people.
Oh, so that's the other dark side, right?
Yeah.
Of acquiring all this attention and all these new fans who they haven't built that relationship with you yet.
Yes.
When they understand your humor and they understand,
Yes.
I get Ted. I know what he means.
Yep.
Yep. So we came back, and we were honestly almost just like, man, this Facebook stuff is for the birds. I'm tired of, you know, if I'm going to get, you know, crucified, pardon the expression, every time I post something on Facebook, my goodness, you know. And you're right. I think that's what it is. There are some people who still, we haven't built that relationship. It grew so fast. But anyway, so try to make it short. We posted a little video. Yeah, we posted a video on Wednesday. And the comments were the people that we do have relationship with that get us, we're back. You know what I'm saying? and so they were talking, and we were conversing, and it was great, and it felt like family again. It felt like last September. It felt like, you know, and it was like, oh, there you are. But it is that, and I told it's relationship. It's 100% relationship, and I get fed by that. Even though I'm an introvert, I really do get fed by that.
Absolutely. How can we not, right? It's like we're wearing our hearts on our sleeves, putting it out for the whole internet, and you know, and that involves all the trolls that come out of woodwork as well. I mean, it's like the good and the bad and the ugly all at once, right? And that's the nature of the beast. And it's so different than playing it like a live gig where you're invited to come, right? It's the internet. Right. Anybody can comment. Anybody feels that they have a right to like form an opinion against you too, or for whatever. Mm-hmm. That's the nature of that. We've got to kind of have that mentality when we go into it, that anything could happen. And then do you feel a little more like now you can better define your personal culture, the culture of Ted and the hammer dulcimer and all of that? Like you said, now you kind of identified your family, like, there you are, I found you. What's the difference between them? Is it the fact that they're drawn to the instrument, or that they have that relationship with you?
Good question. We were talking about this earlier, and I want to say this too, because I do want to promote what you do. It's to me, it's been the most effective investment I've had in my music.
Got tons of new tools in our toolbox that we're using, even if we're not running the program 365, you know, as deep and high as we would if we've been doing this for 2 years. Tons of great tools.
I want to say that in advance, and mainly, probably the biggest thing was your emphasis on niche. And you know, we spent hours, countless hours and days in a coffee house, just sitting in a corner, just writing words down and just trying to figure out what triggered something in me, and what we thought would trigger something in others, right? So I mean, the coffee house that we were at even had posters of famous musicians, and they had posters, so they had slogans and stuff on it. And so that was really helpful, actually, just to look at it and go, oh, that's an interesting word, in describing this and that. So that
were you thinking, how can I define what I do in a word?
Yes.
I love
that. Yeah. Well, and I think we got it down to 3 words at one time, and I probably asked Donna what those are because I can't remember anymore. But anyway, so that was really big. So back to your question now. We were talking about it just this morning, and it's really interesting. It's so interesting.
It's interesting because it's actually about relationship. That's why it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yep.
We have. I meet so many people on the road, right? I mean, I meet Democrat, left wing, right wing, what have you, all over the board. Greenpeace and oil fracking and whatever, all over. I have guys with tattoos that are writing me notes and saying, dude, your stuff rocks. This is awesome, and I have 60-year-old ladies. I love listening to your music. It brings tears to my eyes. So it's gone huge as far as, I mean, I used to, my demographic used to be 50 to 65-year-olds,
Right.
just because of the nature of the instrument.
Right.
And so this we find really interesting, that we have this diversified of a group, which I'm starting to come to grips with. I'm not a real, like, a political person. I don't tout religious views. And I'm not trying to be all things to all people or this wishy-washy, shallow person. I'm not a crusader. I'm a musician, right?
Right.
So I don't have a problem not posting political things. If I posted something about President Trump, oh my goodness, I'm sure my views would get cut in half.
I recommend that you don't.
No, it's not going to happen.
Everybody's tired of politics.
Yes.
That was one thing that was. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, and I may have my own political and religious views too, but I find music for people is about escape from all the things they don't want to think about, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Even if, I believe that, who we are as individuals, that it, on a level, it does come through the music. I mean, it's part of who you are. You can't separate who you are from the thing you create. However, knowing that even though the demographics might have changed for you and it's gone wider and it's gone like more and more people that you wouldn't have thought fit into that demographic, the reason why they're listening to it is the same, and that's like the common thread. You probably see that there's a common thread. Why do they listen to it? And that is what you can capitalize on, is that emotion that it's making them feel, and the reason why they're coming to you and wanting you to play and just visiting your website and buying your music and all of that. What do you think? Do you agree?
Yes. Yeah. And I want to add to that, because I would say, I'm an old rock and roller, for one, right? So people are drawn to me because I'm doing something unique on a unique instrument, playing rock and roll on it, which most people don't play on it. Okay, that's one thing. The very bottom core that I had wanted to do with my music was honestly bring peace to people.
Love it.
And it sounds, I don't mean to be cliche, because it really does mean a lot to me. Just having our thing go viral right in the midst of all our presidential debates, the political chaos that we were, people were just, oh, it's so good to listen to something, to see a family that loves each other. And so they were talking about our family, they were talking about the countryside. And I got so many letters, if you will, from people who would say stuff like, I have been battling insomnia, I have been battling depression, I can't remember, anxiety, all these different things. And they said, I put on your music and I could sleep.
Wow.
They said, one guy wrote me and said, I've tried to commit suicide 4 times. I battle anxiety every day. I'm on 5 or 6 different meds. And I usually sleep about an hour a night. And he said, I listen to your music. He said the Tears for Fears song, and he listened to it, and he said, I slept 8 hours that night. And he said, so I've been listening to your music every night before I go to bed.
Unbelievable. I mean, that's why we do it, right?
That's when I get
That's why we
goosebumps.
do it.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, what better reason to be an artist in music? That's why, you know, I really count on the fact that music is not a selfish thing. It is meant to be shared with other people. It's meant to go out into the world and do what it's meant to do. Because what would have happened if that guy didn't hear your music and you didn't have the courage to turn on Facebook Live? Like that, let's just face it, Facebook Live is scary. It's scary for a lot of us, like even for me, even anybody, because I mean, you're so vulnerable. Like you're not just showing up at a gig, you're showing up to the whole world. Right. And, but then, you know, so the stakes are higher, you know, for our reputation. What are people going to think of me? Maybe they don't like my hair or whatever it is. So all the criticism that could come with it, but look at what kind of an impact it also has. The impact is there. So yes, the stakes are higher in both directions, that you have the potential to literally change people's lives, to affect, I mean, wow. And I firmly believe that man, for example, who slept, something about the music, it raises serotonin levels. Like there's a chemical thing that happens when we listen to music that that touches our soul. And it doesn't even matter what the genre is, but something chemically changes. They can prove that now. Like if anybody ever had a reason to, you know, get your music out there, it's not just meant for us. Like I feel like we have to create because it's in our blood to do it, but then let's go a step further. Let's do what we can with the tools we have to share that with the world.
Yeah, we honestly have a responsibility. This is a gift that we've been given, and that I've been given, and if I don't use it, it's gonna die. And obviously, it was meant to be used. So yeah. That goes back to kind of doing that. I told you earlier about doing the cover songs and stuff that I enjoy doing. But like I played Garth Brooks' The Dance on one of my Facebook Live things, and so many people were just like, "Oh, my dad walked me down the aisle to that song," you know. And you know, it's so fun. You get to know these people so quick because they're sharing memories with you of that song, and that's
why cover songs are fun.
That's why cover songs are fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's so great. What would you say, you know, there's some musicians out there, they watch what you've done and they're like, oh yeah, well, that's because he's Ted and that's because he has, you know, the dulcimer, and, you know, they're thinking, well, I can't do what he did. You know, I'm not going to be successful like that, because they obviously have a certain view of what viral means and what their expectations of that are. But, you know, what would you say to your fellow musicians who are feeling a little discouraged right now about the music industry in general? You know, what piece of advice do you have for them?
I think first off, I would encourage them to find that thing that really motivates them to do music. Because like I said, for me, music, playing my instrument brings me peace. You know, that's my refuge. When things aren't right with me and my wife, I can't play my dulcimer. It drives me crazy.
I know the feeling.
I am not a separate drawer person. I can't close this one and move on. I need my life needs to be right.
The world needs, our little world has to be okay.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
One of my sisters was going through a divorce a few years back, and I didn't play my instrument for 4 months. Wow. I lived right down the road from her. I was right in the middle of it. trying to work with both sides, and it was just too much chaos. Finally, one morning, I just said, I gotta play. So I just got up, I set up my camera, sunrise, and I just set up the camera and I just improv'd right there in the orchard. And I don't play that song on a regular basis, but I shared it just the other day, and people were just loving it. They just, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful.
It's a song of healing. You can hear what was
yeah,
happening as
yeah,
you played.
it's
really cool.
yeah. So yeah, sorry, got off track.
Try to be at peace within your own world and within your own self so that you can be in a position to create.
Yeah, but you have to know your motivation. And I honestly think it's got to be deeper than just I want to be rich. Totally. I know people have said that. I just want to write a hit song. I want to be known by millions. It's like, well, why do you want to be known by millions? What's inside you? There's a reason that you want to be known by millions of people. What's that reason? I don't know. I guess, my dad this or my mom this, or I just always need the approval of others. Well, there you go. That's your reason. And that's okay. And there may be flaws in it, but that's all right. we all have flaws in our reasoning and our needs and everything like that. So find that core reason, because most of the time, that core reason is what makes us human. And that's the common thread in humanity then. Everybody wants to be liked. Everybody does. Even the hardened mechanic who smokes a cigar and cusses at children, he wants to be liked too. So that's okay.
Usually, actually, I think this was a cool thing that I forget about because we've known your story for a while now. Usually it's the things you feel vulnerable about sharing that are the deep things that are actually what your music is all about. Like, I remember you telling your story and saying, I can't tell people I'm a mom of 5 kids. It ruins my rock star image, right?
Yeah.
But that's the cool thing. You're human enough to be a mom of 5 kids, and you still want to create your music with excellence. And so if people will dig deep, and if they have friends to do it with them, I think that's kind of pivotal too. We had friends that sat with us for hours and would say, yeah, I know that's why you want to play music. I know you want to make a living doing this, but tell me more. What makes you really feel excited about sharing your songs with people? And when Ted got to the point that he could say, I just want people to get peace. I like wowing them and playing crazy fun songs and doing stuff really fast. That's fun. But when it gets down to it, I want the evening to have come to a point where I touched something in them that was deeper than just excitement and adrenaline. I want to get down to the deep needs that everybody has, and I want them to walk away feeling that peace in their spirit. So even if for someone else it's I want to feel accepted, I want people to accept me in my art, they're probably going to impart a blessing of acceptance to the listeners if they're willing to
totally agree. Yeah. I totally agree. And that's actually something that I teach well, is actually having a mission statement for your music. So you're extremely purposeful about, what's even going into your music. Is it purposeless in that you're just making whatever, or is there true reason behind it? And so like being self-aware, having that identity, but giving your music a mission too. Like it doesn't have to be super deep either. It could be my music is meant to party to, or
exactly. Yep.
That's totally cool. But then you're giving it purpose, and I do also agree with that. I think something gets imparted into it that is given to the listener, and they know that too. I don't know. It's something you can't explain, right? It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like that. The wedding in Brazil, they had a DJ there, obviously at the reception, and it was just a party atmosphere. I got to play with a DJ. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. So we did Everybody Wants to Rule the World, and he was putting these dance beats behind it and stuff. I wish Kurt Smith could have heard it because it was phenomenal. Oh, it was hilarious. The whole place was jumping. It was
That's awesome.
And then here's this 45-year-old dad, seven kids with a hammered dulcimer on the stage, and everybody's just going bonkers like I'm Led Zeppelin or something. It was hilarious. But I say that only because, yes, you're right. Even if my music is meant to party, people to just let go, frenzy, who doesn't need that? Right. I mean, how many times have I walked off into the woods and let off a string of expletives just because that's all I could do, and I was just so mad at the world that I just went and cussed at the trees, you know. We need that release too, you know. So it's not all about this sappy, you know, peace stuff that TED talks about. You know, it can just be, there's all kinds of releases that music is meant to achieve for us. And so yeah, or yeah, I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but anyway.
No, that's, you said it so perfectly. And I relate to that. Hey, like us housewives, I mean, we gotta let go every once in a while, you know. Oh, that's so great. You know, and I didn't even realize you guys had 7 kids, so that is amazing. Like,
we do. I tell people we aren't cats. We didn't have a litter. They did come one at a time, but.
That's amazing. Wow. And how old are they?
Almost 19, down to 5.
Oh, that's so awesome.
So, yeah, we have.
You know, I have just a couple more for you, if that's okay. I don't want to take up all your time, but if you don't,
no, you're good.
I'm really just enjoying getting to know you guys. I'm just enjoying you so much. Yeah, you know, on the business end of things, how do you? I would love to ask about how you guys are together, and you know, your roles, and you know, in your mind, Ted, can business and art come together harmonically, you know, or synergistically? And because there's so many musicians out there who say that you shouldn't mix the two and it adulterates the music. No, right?
You say that about a plumber? Do you say that if we pay you for the job, it's adulterating the job? No.
That's a good point.
Yeah, the short answer is yes. And you're definitely, like I said earlier, you're talking to a guy who, I hate numbers. I mean, you know, I go to my financial planner and my eyes start rolling in the back of my head in about 15 minutes. You know, she loves it, you know. For me, numbers and just, you know, like I was digging into Facebook and trying to figure out, you know, all that stuff, the details bore me to tears. So what I do is I give myself like 15 to 20 minutes. And I devote that to, you know, whatever Donna wants to talk about business-wise, or whatever I need to focus. If I need to email people, schedule some stuff, I do it only like in 15 or 20-minute increments. And then I go take a break. I either go clear my head outside, shoot baskets, or start playing my instrument or something like that.
That is brilliant. That is seriously brilliant. You might think like whatever, like no big deal, but that is the best advice that I've heard for musicians who maybe they have, you know, ADD. I feel like I have ADD. My brain's all over the map, and it's difficult to, you know, corral my brains, my thoughts, and focus sometimes. But if you give it like a 15-minute increment, I just do the work, do the hard stuff for 15 minutes, and then it's over. Yep. You can come back to it later. That's so brilliant.
Yeah.
And then,
it goes back to a book I read years ago called Eat That Frog. And I can't remember the author anymore, but basically he said no, you know, the frog is that thing that you just don't want to mess with that day. You just have no passion for whatsoever. He said you just have to eat the frog, get it over with, and then you can move on. So it's kind of like that.
Instead
I don't
of
hate
procrastinating, and then
it
just, you know, a year later.
It stresses you out.
Right. Yeah. It's that nagging thing too, and it reduces your quality of life too, while sitting there nagging at you, right?
Yeah. And so honestly, I kind of do that to a lot of different areas. So let's say for wood shedding on my instrument, or practicing scales, and you know, all this stuff that we as musicians need to do. You don't feel like you have to have 8 hours of sitting there and doing scales, you know. So just do 15 minutes, take a break, do something else, play a song you already know, work on a song that you really want to learn, come back to it, do another 15 minutes. I mean, holy cow, what would happen if you had 2 hours worth of 15-minute increments in each day for 10 days in a row? Can you imagine how proficient you'd get on your instrument, you know? So it's the same thing, just little bites, you know. As parents of 7, that's all the time we have anyway.
I completely understand. And actually, that's how I've been learning the harp. I actually haven't done it for a few months now, but as soon as I had started, I've been learning it 5 minutes at a time. Literally, it's like
Yeah.
I have a 5-minute break. Okay, I actually have lessons online. So I put it online, and I, sometimes it's stretched to 10 minutes, and actually, I actually have another 5 minutes. So learning that bite-sized thing, that's so great. And Donna, what's your role in the whole thing? Because he gives you a lot of credit, and I love that. And together as a team, that's awesome.
Oh, it's cool. I love the things that he generally doesn't. Like being on stage makes me cringe. So I've always loved behind the scenes stuff, and I love projects. So I really handle the daily in and out stuff. I do the accounting. I do the ad creation. When we got into your stuff and we were looking at, Ted had to sit with me and do micro niche, talk to me about this, talk to me about what you connect with. Cause I can, you still have to have the artist involved in that. Cause I can kind of read what his motivations are, but sometimes they come out differently when he digs down that deep. So.
Not sometimes, all the time.
I speak woman, he speaks man. So it really comes. I do lots of, like when we designed t-shirts, it was my deal to do product development. The CD designs, when we get into that, I'm responsible for just getting that whole project created. Ted does the art and writes the music and plays the music and all that, and I just get the final product finished. So a lot of my stuff is research, and I love Canva. Canva is my best friend. That really changed my life, having that tool, realizing I could make beautiful ads
without having to farm
without
it all
having to
out.
find a graphic designer somewhere.
Yeah.
I have so much fun with that.
And what she does is art too. It's just art of a different form. So
Absolutely.
This is not A or B.
Right.
There is art in accounting. It's just not my art.
Absolutely. There's art in data and analytics and research.
Absolutely. Yep.
More like a scientific art,
Yeah.
We're more of an analytical art, but it is an art. And it can't, so I mean, and I sometimes I've been doing all of those things myself, but I'm learning, I think it's great if people can bring other assistants or even a virtual assistant or a friend or someone who is good at some of those things, that they can help get a little extra outside help. Mm-hmm. And I think that can really take off a little bit of that pressure, It's a great idea.
Yep. And it'll take a lot of work to do that. It really will. Well, I'm not going to pronounce it on anybody, but it's going to be hard to find the right person for the right job that clicks with you and that you work well with. So give it time, give it a lot of grace and a lot of time. A lot of times, Donna will, not a lot of times, Donna will create something and I'll just say, it's good, but I'm just not feeling it, And so then we dig a little deeper. Why doesn't it feel right? Because for me, it's like I was saying with her, she's doing art, yes, but then at the same time, it needs to have
your voice.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
So sometimes it just doesn't feel right, so we rehash it.
I tend to be too polished.
Yeah.
Ted roughs it up a little bit and makes it real, and that's what people relate to. So we had a really neat thing. Speaking of bringing other people in, I've been thinking about. We did an Indiegogo campaign for the CD Ted's working on right now, and we had tried to do one of those in the past with a different company, and it fell so flat, so bad. We just didn't have a large enough fan base to even try to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was the wrong demographic too. This platform didn't appeal to them. But so we were really gun shy about doing another one. So when you brought up your things and I compared A and B's, and I just really liked Indiegogo. So I started writing everything for that, and was about ready to publish it, and sent it to a friend, a fairly new friend of ours, but she's high on the analyst problem solving, very detailed analyst kind of person, and sent it to her and just said, how does this hit you? What do you think? She gave me such good feedback. I think that campaign had a much better delivery and response rate because of getting that outside input, because Ted and I can only go so far.
Yeah.
We needed someone else to kind of give us some forward momentum and add their art to it. And so that was kind of a first for us to bring someone else in on a very practical level to look at things and help us.
That's great.
Get ready to go.
I really like that. Yeah, it's important to sometimes bounce things off of people you trust. And I love how you phrase that. How does this hit you? It's gonna, because people do judge books by their covers. They'll judge your page, they'll judge your Facebook page, your website off the, the first 3 seconds. And you have a very short amount of time to either grab them and get them interested to listen more, or they click away. So, that's a very good piece of advice. That's awesome. I wanted to just bring up your website. I see you're doing a lot of really great things with your website, and I love how you've incorporated other streams of income. And basically, so some of the things I saw was, I love that you have your opt-in front and center there, that you want people to, join your email list and, basically join your community and get that inside scoop that's, a big top thing. I think that's awesome. I saw, you've got a place for people to buy your music there. You have merchandise happening. You have, you make those dulcimers also? You actually?
I don't make them. I'm a reseller. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so then you're selling the instrument on there, because oh my goodness, that's brilliant, because now you've just gotten people interested in this instrument now, that they're like, now I want to play that. That's awesome. Right? And then you have accessories going on for that. You just have a lot of really amazing things, and I love how you have diversified what you do. You're not just a performer. You have other things to offer that, those are other creative things that you've done to think outside of the box. And I just want to say you're doing a great job with it. I think that's awesome.
and it's taken 6 years, to get to that point, honestly. It's just a website you can build overnight, but you can't, it doesn't take form until much later. Because it's like our music, everything grows, and everything gets personality from the person who built it. You know what I mean? So it's just like our music. So whatever image we're creating on Facebook, whatever image, not image. Culture. Thank you. Yes. Whatever culture we're building takes time to form and grow. And I think our website starts to feed that too. Hey, if you see a really bad musician website, chances are the guy hates doing web stuff, right? Yeah. So that's his culture. So it's definitely being promoted, Yeah. But anyway.
Just one little last thing, and then I'll let you guys go. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. It's really been a blast. You guys are the sweetest people ever, and I would just love to just hang out with you in regular life. You guys are awesome. But I heard that you gifted the online musician to somebody. Is that right?
Yeah.
Couple people.
And then I heard that person gifted it to somebody else.
Yes.
That warmed my heart so much, you guys. I get emotional thinking about that. Really, that is I can't even think of what a more kind, thoughtful thing that you could do for somebody. And I just want to say, I'm going to gift you the Superfan system. I want you guys to have it. I want you to have that, and I want to work with you through it, because you guys have a momentum happening, and what you've got is really special, and I want to see this continue to go to, on the path that you're in. So if I could do that, let's just keep this gifting thing going. This is
it is so much fun. Gosh, please believe me, I'm not saying this to bring any light on me, or us. Honestly, I think the best thing out of this whole thing is that we can finally give to others. Honestly, we're a big family, and I've been doing what I had to do to make ends meet, to put food on the table, that kind of thing, for the last 7 years. And we haven't had a lot of money. And it's not like we're rolling in it now. I don't have a bed made out of money, but we can breathe. But the most fun that we've had is giving your course to friends of ours that could use it, I got to give a dulcimer. I bought a dulcimer for a veteran out in California because he always wanted to play, so I bought him one and sent it to him.
Because he wasn't going to do it.
Because he wasn't going to do it. He thought it was,
worth the money.
He said, no, it's not. Don't. He kept telling me, don't spend your money on me. I'm too far along in life. And I finally talked him into it, and he said, okay, I'll only take it if you promise to take it back when I die.
That is so touching. That is amazing.
So, I mean, it's honestly, it's just giving back, Yeah. And it's not all about money. And that's, I heard people say before, the only people that say it's not about money are the people who don't have it. There's probably some truth to that.
Yeah.
Because there were times when we didn't have money, and what could I give but my music? What could we give but our time? That type of thing. So there's truth to that.
Yeah.
But money makes the world go round, and so it's it is nice to have it and to be able to
like you said, you can.
Yeah.
That is a significant accomplishment to just be able to do that and get that place, And the other reason, I don't do a lot of gifting, and one of the reasons is not because I don't want to. I loved it, but because so many people don't do the work, like
Yeah.
And I know most people don't do the work unless they have skin in the game. The stakes for them have to be high, just like it was for you when you guys invested into the online musician. The stakes were high. It was not a flippant decision that you made. It was a commitment that you made. If we do this, we're doing it, and you took the bits and pieces that you needed and applied it for where you were at that moment, which is how you do it. That's how you do it, Yeah. Not every course is going to apply all the way through to everybody in every circumstance. That's not how it works. I take courses like on a monthly basis pretty much, and there is no course that always apply to me in every single thing I'm doing, but you take what you can, and sometimes there's been one or two golden nuggets that literally changed everything I was doing, and it made the whole thing worth it, So I know that you guys are like incredible hard workers. The fact that you sit at coffee shops for days thinking about words in your niche, like you guys are hardcore, absolutely hardcore. It's amazing. Like if most musicians had half that dedication, they would see incredible results. They would, and it's not like there is no silver bullet. There is I don't believe in ever betting on viral anything. Like that is not what I plan for. That's icing on the cake if it happens, right? But I think there's so much more that we can do that actually puts the power back in our hands. And that we have so many tools at our disposal, like you said, and we can do so much with it. So, your story is incredibly encouraging to me. You guys have really touched my heart. You're going to touch so many people's lives just hearing, this story. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, you guys have a wonderful evening, and hopefully we'll talk again soon another time.
Okay, sounds good. If we ever come up to Canada in your neck of the woods, we'll make sure to stop.
Yes, please do. If you're in the Vancouver area, anywhere in that, even Seattle is, a couple hour drive from here. So. Okay. Yeah. All right. You guys take care. And
thank you.
All right.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.